Welcome to the Metal Verbalizers podcast. We think that underground metal deserves far more appreciation because there are a lot of hard-working musicians and great music to be found in underground metal. We think it should be supported, which is why we started this podcast. We also want to share the great underground music with you who are listening. In this type of episode, we invite a band and talk about fun and cool things that have taken place during tours and things like that. I'm Johan Verbalizer together with Erik Verbalizer, and in this episode we will talk with members of the band Kasck. So, you can start by introducing yourself and your band. Also, if there's anything else you'd like to say before we start.
Elia, thank you very much for having us, guys. My name is Mayank. I'm the guitarist and vocalist for the band, Kasck.
Again, thanks for having us for this awesome conversation that we're going to have. I'm Vishal. I play bass for Kasck.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, our drummer couldn't join, but yeah, we both.
All right.
Well,
maybe
we
we
got you
another
guys.
time.
Yeah.
Maybe another time.
Yes.
But yeah, should we get into some stories maybe?
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Mike, you can start with how it all began.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll go. So we started this band long time ago, around 7 years. But we were just doing some covers, just trying to play our favorite band tunes, Metallica, Slayer, and all of that. We all started, with those kind of bands. And once we started, getting our chops on our instruments, we were like, okay, let's try it out. One thing led to another, and then we eventually thought of making originals. Why not make our own original songs rather than just keep on playing. We actually never played cover songs live. I mean, we never went full on live cover. So our very first gig, I remember this, the drummer Saurabh and we were just jamming, and we got a call from outstation from some other city. And they were like, we're having this competition over here. Would you guys want to come here? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. But at that time, we did not even have the name for the band. We were just jamming. We didn't know what to do. So one day we just sat randomly and, thought of the band names, but, nothing came to mind. We were thinking of some generic names, but they were already taken because, we came across some bands, they have that name already. So we're like, fuck it, let's do something. Just came up with a weird word. So I came across this word called Kasck, C-A-S-K, Kasck. So it's like, okay, this sounds kind of cool. Well, let's try to make it more thrash. What can we do? So yeah, we did the most obvious thing. We changed the C to K, and then we added another C over there. So that's how C-A-S-K is now K-A-S-C-K, Kasck. So that's how we began.
Cool.
That's the beginning of Kasck.
Yeah, it's hard with those like one word names that are like short and snappy and rememberable, because like you said, many of them are already taken. It is really nice that you guys found a name that worked, that is really that it's short, memorable, short and snappy. So that's awesome.
It is memorable. Yeah, absolutely, it is memorable. The only drawback I would say of this name is it's a single syllable, right? So when you're in a concert, you cannot really chant like Kasck, Kasck, like how you can do with when you have two syllables or more, like mega, that, something like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Slayer.
Yeah, even Slayer.
Yeah.
That's the only drawback, but it is kind of catchy and it's snappy. So we're happy with the word.
Yeah, I was actually about to ask you like the origin of the band name, because that's something I think is pretty like interesting and very cool to kind of like hear the ideas and like the kind of origins of the the names of bands.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Right.
people think, it's to each his own, but we were just trying to come up with a good name and we came across it. There's no hidden meaning or anything behind it. There's no nothing. It's just simply we found a word, we liked it, it was kind of catchy, so we're like, yeah, let's make it more trashy, and here we go.
Yeah. Because that's like kind of as you're saying, like, because that's something I've noticed a lot when like asking bands this question, that sometimes it's like kind of a deep meaning, like you're saying. Like they have a very specific meaning and like kind of more deep meaning, and some people are like, we thought it sounded good. Like that's pretty much it.
Absolutely.
So it changes a lot from band to band. And that itself is pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, it is. It is. Like Metallica. Like, what does it?
Yeah.
So, right. So, little background in terms of where I get my influences and stuff like that. So, way back, I'll have to go 25 years behind. And my first band was in 1999. I was in college. I was graduating. And it just happened. It was a small town, and just kind of got along with some like-minded musicians, formed a band, and we had a couple of shows here and there. We traveled a lot during that time. That was my first band. We used to, again, do covers, maybe mostly classic rock. So I was the guitarist and vocalist for that band. There were times it so happened that our drummer, he met with an accident. So I took up the drums and we looked for another guitarist. And so, it was all kind of mix and match. So it did all those things, did crazy things back then. 2005, I moved to another city and formed another band. I started looking for people, again, like-minded musicians. And there again, I was the rhythm guitarist. I did not take vocals for that band. We did a few shows, and then there was a long silence. Absolutely no action in terms of music, because everybody moved to different, one of them moved back to the US. So the band finally broke. And I really didn't have anybody I couldn't find the right people. So there was a long silence, a long gap. But then I kept visualizing that this is not the end. That's when, after many, many years, I moved around. I went to different cities because I was working, things like that. I came back to this city called Pune, and it just so happened I went to watch Mayank's gig one day because I was craving to listen to some metal, and they were doing a tribute the other day. So this was again 2017, if I'm not wrong. When was this? 2019.
Yeah, maybe 19, just before COVID.
19, yes. So I watched them live, and I was like, I need to be there with those guys. I shouldn't be standing here. This is not where I belong. No. And it just so happened that, Mayank and I, we got to know each other and we started meeting up, and we formed another band, which was a side project for him. And it was a primary project for me. So that didn't work out for whatever reasons. And Mayank one day picks the phone on me and says, would you want to join Kasck? But the only thing is you'll have to play bass because the bassist is on his way out for other commitments. I was like, yeah, man, whatever works.
As long as you play music, am I right?
As long as I'm active, as long as I'm back on stage, because I missed that feeling for a good 15 years. I kept going though, but that's how it all happened. So I was more than excited to get back into the metal scene. I was just compromising with playing classic rock and doing covers and things like that, just to be on the move. But Kasck was the sweet spot that I found, and I'm really grateful to these guys that this happened. And I'm super excited to be a part of this monster of a band.
You mentioned in 2005 you were already playing in bands, Vishal. I was still learning multiplication tables at that
time. Well, I still don't know the multiplication tables. God damn.
Neither do I.
God damn it.
Yeah, but
It's crazy, and even I was very afraid of calling Vishal when we had our base there. He was moving out to pursue other things,
Yeah.
and we had this Wacken metal battle thing coming up. It was
yeah,
next month or something like that. So I was afraid. I had other options, but I was like, yeah, since I know this guy, maybe I should just give him a call. But I was afraid at the same time because he's actually a guitar player. He's not a bass player, and he's a better
Yeah.
guitar player than me. So I was like, how should I say, can you play bass for the band instead of playing guitar? So for that, I made the call, and I'm happy that we all met, and it's
Yeah.
been good ever since Vishal has joined. So,
That's awesome.
And the best part is my first gig with Kasck was the metal battle. So you can imagine the pressure
Yeah.
because I'm getting on stage after so many years, and it's the most important event of
Yeah.
our lives. And yeah, I mean, I was excited at the same time, very nervous,
Yeah.
but we made it through.
That's great.
Yeah.
did a good job, man. It's like, we won.
Right.
Yeah, that's definitely a sign that it was a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And immediately after that, I think we went to play Dubai, Vishal, if I'm not wrong.
That's right. Yeah.
All right.
So ever since Vishal has come, we've been taking these huge steps. I mean, Johan, you're familiar with the work that we've been doing for some years now. Ever since we put first release, we were playing a couple of shows here and there, but we weren't actually going out and making the mark. Yeah, we were getting audience from obviously from all around the world, but then as far as live playing is concerned, we were just playing in small towns here in India. But then Vishal came, luckily we won that competition, so we got to play for the finals of Wacken Metal Battle here in India. So we played that, and immediately after that we were called to play in Dubai, which was amazing experience. Once again, our first out of the country gig. And then right after that we were supposed to open for Suffocation. Suffocation was supposed to play here in India, but something happened, passports, and some shit happened, so they couldn't come. We unfortunately had to drop out from that. But then again after that we played here and there, and then obviously the Wacken thing happened recently. So it's great. I'm grateful that ever since Vishal has come, we've been taking these. Maybe
just,
you're the lucky.
Thanks, Mike.
But Wacken feels a little bit like, if you want to play on festivals, Wacken feels like the holy grail of festivals.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At least for the band on stage.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't it on at Wacken that Sabaton played for like 600,000 people or something?
Right.
Was it Wacken?
Something crazy, something absolutely nuts like that.
Wow. Wow. I mean, even as a fan, as a listener, going to Wacken, it's like a very, what do you call it? It's like going to a pilgrimage and paying your
Yeah.
to the metal gods and everything. And this was our first time going to Wacken, and we actually got to play. So it just it's like beyond our wildest dreams. We who would have thought 2 years ago that we would be playing Wacken and meeting all these legends. We met a lot of legends, and our heroes, they're just next to us, sitting there, having coffees, beers, and all that. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I can imagine that's a pretty a surreal feeling.
Absolutely. That's
I'm still high on that experience.
Yeah, I can imagine.
In 2 weeks.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that Wacken is literally the biggest metal festival in the world.
Absolutely.
Sounds about right.
I would say it. I mean, I got into this band just in December last year. Mayank and Kasck has been performing several gigs. For me, this is just the beginning, and what a start! What a start! It was just like a springboard, And this is not. This is going to go on. This is how it's going. They're taking Hulk leaps, literally Hulk leaps, and I'm sure that this is going to be the trend. this year was very hectic, very busy. We toured quite a few cities and a couple of international ones. There's one more lined up next month in October.
Awesome.
So this year has been very busy, and next year, now with all this experience that we've had, we're able to plan the next year better. And that's exactly what we're doing. So next year, we've already kind of looked around and seen what festivals to participate in. There are a couple of open air shows that we are already planning to do, and simultaneously work on a couple of. We're working on an album, so that's going to a full length album that's going to happen.
Right.
Awesome.
I'm saying it now, Maya, just so that we work on it. We've put our word out there. So this
You
is
won't give us any more details.
We should definitely do that. And we should play Sweden as well. Play these guys.
For sure.
That would definitely be awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe Sweden Rock could be an option.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's great. How is the thrash metal scene in Sweden? I mean, we all know the Swedish death metal scene and all that.
Yeah.
What do you think about the thrash metal in Sweden, guys?
I think Sweden isn't really super known classic wise for thrash metal. It's like you're saying. I think that when it comes to metal, not least the kind of more extreme type, I think Sweden is more known for its death metal. But we definitely have some really, really great thrash metal bands here. Some of the bands that we've been talking about on this podcast, for example. But you also have stuff like bands like Eternal Evil, Sarcader that we featured. Definitely some really, really great bands. Methane is another one that we talked about.
Yeah. I know those guys. I know them.
I mean, the other kinds of bands we have outside of death metal and that sort of kind of music then it's more like dad rock and classic heavy metal. Yeah. So we got bands like Europe, for example.
Oh, right.
And Sabaton, of course.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's either Cookie Monster music or dad rock.
Great.
Right.
But yeah, we have a lot of great thrash metal bands in Sweden right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm eager to check out Methane live. I mean, I've heard their stuff online, but they were supposed to play in Dubai right after we played same show, but I don't know, it didn't work out. So maybe if they come back to the eastern side, I'll definitely check those guys out. There's another band from Sweden. I'm not able to recollect the name, but again, a very good band. If I recollected it, very good band. You guys must have heard of it.
Yeah, I mean another one is like Warfect, for example.
Okay, Warfect. Yeah, that band too. Thanks to our group with the new wave of thrash metal, you discover a lot of bands from.
For sure. We're definitely a big fan of that group.
Oh yes, great work.
Half of our audience online is because of that group.
Right.
Awesome.
Right, which is great.
I think that's important nowadays, that we really build these communities online as well. Not just on Spotify and such, but also on Facebook and all of that, because that's going to help. Nowadays, it's so much easier to reach out to people and hard at the same time, since it's so oversaturated in some ways.
Yeah, they're right. Like in the new wave of thrash metal group, they're making a really, really great job with that group for thrash metal in general. I mean, they've also given us a lot of exposure in that group as well. So that thing we are obviously very, very grateful for.
Very much so.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Communities like this, I mean, you can be sitting at one corner of the world and you can be connecting with what we're doing at this moment. And
yeah, for sure.
That's I think that's great. I mean, 20 years ago, this interview would barely have been possible to do.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's insane in some ways.
True.
How much the technology has evolved.
Yes.
I think it's great.
You know, there could be concerts. I mean, you can just sit at home and enjoy live concerts. You know,
Yeah.
dance and whatnot. Like,
I mean, that was what Wacken did during COVID.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not that. That happened.
Yeah, they had like an online festival on their homepage.
Yeah.
Oh,
where you could get like tickets.
Oh,
nice.
I've also seen like
I'm not a big fan of that. I would prefer going to the festival, but then again,
yeah,
I mean,
of course.
For sure, because the sound and everything. I mean, in that, when they did that live stream festival, then you had the like muffled studio quality. You don't have that reverberation from the room that you are in, the pub or the like open air festival or something. There is a certain kind of a sound, because you have that reverberation and everything of that.
Right, because in the end, you're listening through your computer speakers or your headphones or anything. But if you're actually present there, you're listening through these, you know, lines of arrays and big speakers and subwoofers and all.
Right.
It kind of, it hits differently, and you have other people, you know, and that also changes the entire vibe of that particular.
Right.
You know. Yeah, it's there's a difference, but good thing that Wacken didn't back out. I mean, like a lot of they can't do anything because
like they say, the show must go on, right? And this is a true example.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of vague, but I kind of see it that way, that you're not only seeing a show, you're not only hearing a show, but you're really like experiencing a live show. It's a certain feeling that's kind of almost difficult to really describe if you haven't actually experienced it yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something I really... Sorry?
Yeah, go on. I was just saying you cannot replicate that feeling online.
Yeah, no.
Of course, yes. But that's the thing about the metal community. They stand for each other. And like I said, the show must go on. That's called crisis management. You have something, but the show has to continue.
Yeah.
And I'll probably tell you a short story about this when I mentioned that suffocation for XYZ reasons got cancelled. We were already there. We traveled to Bangalore all the way. And most of Indian metalheads, all over India, they were in Bangalore at that point. They spent a lot of time, money, and all that, and they were in Bangalore. This little bunch of people formed a group, called all these guys, and we did a small show over there in Bangalore. I mean, you can imagine, that's the respect I have for this metal. They said, so what if the show is cancelled? I mean, it's a big loss, yes, but let's just do something wilder. So these guys, they hired a small place. There were about 200 people. They invited everybody through their contacts and network, and we had a show over there. And they called other musicians as well in thrash and death. We shared our instruments. These guys had come as audience. They wanted to come and watch Suffocation, all the other lineup. They were able to play on that platform, and we were happy to share our equipment with them. You know, that's the beauty of this community.
Yeah,
that's how
absolutely
tightly knit we are, even if we are strangers, but metal binds us together. So I think that's why,
for sure.
If people ask me what is in this, I mean, why do you keep listening to this kind of noise? I said, no, this is the people behind it, and it's the vibe and the energy behind it, and the honesty behind it.
Yeah, for sure. I've told this story a couple of times before. When we were attending a show, I think it was when we saw Ailstorm live in Stockholm. Then we had a little chat with, or if it was when you and Dad went to Peter Tekgren with Hypocrisy. I think it was at that point. Then one of the guards that were guarding the show, he told us that, I mean, for me, the more extreme the music is, the better the people.
You could say
He
that,
loved
yes.
the most extreme, like mayhem or like something like that you could like imagine. He like, I love to guard those shows because there's never a problem. And I think that is a lot of because of the community and the strong bonds within that the music has bonded.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome.
That's amazing.
It's awesome for sure. Yeah. Overall, the sense of community in metal music, I cannot tell for any other genres, but the sense of community and the brotherhood that we feel in metal, I don't think that happens in any other genre.
No.
I don't think so either. Not in the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not gonna go to whatever. I'm not gonna say any names, but yeah.
Right.
But yeah, like I agree. It's that certain like connection, that kind of like bond you really experience, like when you meet other people that like have the similar taste in music that you have.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, we have the same experience like at festivals and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
Like for example, when I saw bands like Midnight, for example, you can like meet people and just start to talk like naturally. You don't even really think about it, but it just happens,
Yeah. It comes naturally. That's the best part of it. You don't have to force it. It's like you all are on the same repeats. Amazing.
Yeah, because that's certain thing that is like you don't really have to like explain or like try to argue or anything. Like all of you can like agree and like understand each other. Like you don't have to explain so much. Like you just understand automatically.
Yeah. But within this community, there's one slight problem. There are two types of people. One is, there's a divide. One is a Metallica fan and the other is a Megadeth fan. That's the only problem. That's the divide that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You can tell the personality of the person just by
but apart from that, we're all cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
Absolutely. Let's go. So you guys have any questions or like you just want to, Johan, I'm sure this is about the tales from the tours and everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of up to you as well. Like if you want to answer some more classic interview questions, we can do that as well. Or if you have any like cool stories that you want to talk about.
Sure. Vishal, you have anything to share from the stories from the tour? I mean, every tour is unique, and there are some special moments from every tour. I mean, and every gig, every show. It's a lot about improvising at that particular moment, and people say being a musician is a very easy job. You're playing and it sounds like fantasy that you're just going out in different countries to different people and all of that, but the reality of it, the touring musicians, they know how hard it is. I mean, it's not as easy as it sounds, but
right. They just look at it from the glamour point of view,
exactly.
But there's so many stories behind. There's so much of hard work. There's so much of compromises, sacrifices. It's crazy.
I mean, it was a little bit that was a little bit of the reason to why we want to start this concept of tour stories to bring that in the light of day, because the audience only sees what happens on stage, and then they don't see the rest of carrying all the equipment, maybe having a small Volkswagen that you carry that you travel with all the equipment and such. How was it that Arsenal got their show? Like they ordered a van, but they got a small car for their equipment and themselves. So I mean, like the audience
Yeah.
never sees this part.
Yeah.
Goes unnoticed. And funny that you brought up equipments. Recently, while flying to Wacken, I mean, we faced this issue where, we all had our instruments with us. I mean, yeah, if you're in Europe and you're just touring Europe, it's much easier than when you're flying from, let's say, India or somewhere in America or South America or whatever, right? Because you have to fly, and flying with your instruments is a nightmare for every musician. And especially if you're carrying any special instruments, like your special guitar or whatever, anything. It's a nightmare. You are in constant stage of this, you're in state of paranoia that, okay, something might happen to my instrument, they might break it, no matter how much you write over the case. So I'll tell you a funny story about this, that I play this V style of guitars, right? And I wanted to bring this particular guitar to Wacken because I made a promise to that guitar that I'll take you to Wacken. So I had to keep up my promise. But the funny thing is, I came across a lot of stories, and even flying before this Wacken show, we flew somewhere else, and where they were not allowing me to carry my guitar with me in the cabin, inside the cabin. So they asked me to check the guitar in. But at that time, I was carrying it with the soft case. So unfortunately, I mean, luckily, I did not check it in. I requested them, and they were like, yeah, sure, whatever. But, it's not generally allowed. If it's a small guitar, if it's an acoustic or even a Les Paul kind of guitar, small shaped, you might take it in and fit it in the whatever that thing is.
The baggage shelf.
Storage.
Yeah, baggage shelf. Yeah. But since my guitar is V, it's kind of broad, and it's lengthier as well. So I was being paranoid from last couple of months that how will I carry this guitar? I need to do something. And funny thing about India is you do not get all the equipments here easily. I mean, obviously you can get everything, but I mean, a lot of things, but not everything. For example, for this V guitar, I wanted a hard shell case so that, I can check the guitar in the airlines, but I could not find it. So I had to custom made this guitar not cover, the case. And it was sturdy. I told the guy not to make it very heavy, but to make it sturdy and durable, he kind of had to. So we went to the airport, and I'm like, okay, what should I do? I'm in two minds. One of my mind was I should not give it in check-in, but then what if they stop me while entering the plane, and then they tell me, no, you have to check in if I don't carry the heart. So I was like, okay, I'll take the leap of faith. I gave it for check-in. Turns out the case and guitar alone, they weigh around 17 to 18 kilograms.
Wow.
Which is, we only had the limit of 23 kgs per person. And apart from the guitar and the case, I had my pedal board, my cables and other stuff. We also had, our, backdrops and stuff like that. So it was very frustrating. In the end, I just had to pay some, overweight luggage amount of it. It's fine. But the constant, this thought process that you have continuously. It's very taxing. And I was in constant state of this, when I receive my guitar back, will it be broken, or will everything will be fine? So luckily everything was fine. They took care of it. But then this is one issue. And we always keep on hearing these stories from musicians, like, I gave my guitar for check-in, and when it came back, it was in 3 pieces. It was in 2 pieces. So that's a constant paranoia state for me, flying with your.
That happened to me when I ordered a guitar when I was younger. It was a Les Paul style guitar, and it was the neck was broken at the body and at the neck. So that guitar was absolutely screwed. And I mean, it was only shipped in styrofoam, basically.
Oh.
So I was a little bit like,
Yeah, I can imagine the heartbreak.
Yeah, and I
but we
calls,
we contacted them and they actually sent another
Yeah.
one. So
Okay.
I were a little bit lucky there.
Yeah. I mean, right.
But
Yeah,
just that realization that
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
oh fuck, when you
Yeah.
realize
Oh, yes.
that's a break. That's a break. Not good.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
like a similar thing happened with me as well. We were coming back from Wacken, and I was able to carry my guitar with me. I went through all those posts, all those points, and I was free to go. I took the first step into the aircraft, and one lady comes running to me and said, "You can't take this because it's the height of that particular instrument is not acceptable." I said, "I'm into the aircraft. What do I do now?" So you'll have to check it in. I said, "I'm not going back. I'm not going all the way there." "No, I'll take it for you." I said, "That's absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
My guitar is not, I mean, I'm not prepared for putting it in check it. It had a soft case. I tried to argue with the woman, but I mean, rules are rules. And I didn't want to take too much of, I didn't want to get into that negative space. I said, "Okay, but as long as you make sure it comes back to me all fine."
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It was renowned airline, so I was still okay with it.
Yeah.
And the first thing when I got the guitar back in that belt, I was like, I was worried if it's going to be shattered into pieces or what. But thankfully, everything was fine. And I trusted the airline, so that was fine. But the entire flight all the way back was a nightmare. These things happen. I mean, these are the things that we have to go through. These are the kind of stress points that we have. So when people look at us in glamour point of view, this is the kind of
This is the
ice
glamour.
bricks that we shit. Yes, quite.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's our baby. That's an instrument is our baby. It's got to be.
Yeah.
We
Well,
take so much care
you
of
can't
it.
really take a nightliner either from India to
Right.
Wacken.
Oh,
I wish
yes.
we could. I would have taken that.
Well, you can. It is possible. But
Yeah, I mean-
if you're gonna play next year in June, you're gonna start right. You're gonna have to start right now.
Yeah.
1 year for me, yeah.
But then, how do you guys go about traveling with drums? Do you just take your cymbals with you, or do you carry the whole drum set? Because that would take a lot of space as well.
Yeah, so we have not come to the point where we have the luxury to, travel with the drum set.
Yeah.
So we usually, send in the tech rider to the organizers or, whoever is in charge of that particular show that please provide us a drum kit. So far, it has been like that, but we're planning to do a Europe tour soon. So at that time, it's better to rent out the equipments from, a country there in Europe and then, pay the rent rather than carrying it from here, because it doesn't make sense to the drum kit, especially for the smaller bands. I mean, a lot of big bands, they do carry their all the equipments, but for smaller bands it makes more sense to rent it out than to carry it around, especially if you're coming from this far. If you're coming from India or anywhere from Latin America to Europe or to this side, east to west, it's a hassle.
Speaking about the size of it, it must be crazy expensive.
It is, yeah.
Just like taking the cymbals, like in metal, there are usually quite a lot of cymbals.
Yeah.
So just that must be quite expensive.
It is. Luckily, you can carry the cymbals inside with you. So I'm not sure how others, but we do that. So our drummer, he has a soft case bag where he puts all of his cymbals and he just carries it inside. So that's
awesome.
But yeah, kind of like going back to the touring aspect. I think it was in the documentary Get Thrashed. I don't remember his name right now, but he used to be a member of Overkill. But he said that thing that it's like, even if you really, really love the music, and even if you really love playing, like the touring life can be very, very like hard on you, and you might not like be able to kind of do the touring part of it because of how like heavy and difficult it really is.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah, absolutely. I think that was Rick Hunold from Exodus who said that, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, maybe. But I think it was a member of Overkill that said it as well.
Okay.
What I mean, it goes for every band. Well, like Sabaton, for example, like I had an example of before, they are doing like 340 shows a year or something. It is something absolutely insane. I don't understand how they have the energy to do it.
Yep. And another thing I would like to add there, obviously it's crazy to running around and playing different cities every other day. Yeah, that's taxing physically, but mentally and emotionally also it's a big deal for anyone to be in that confined space with those particular people for a longer period of time, right? Where I mean, that's how band members they get sick of each other. Like we have seen a lot of bands like Ramones and all that. But this makes me wonder like how these big bands who are touring touring years after years and still doing it with the same passion. It gives me a great respect. I really respect that they are still doing it after all those years and still not because to be frank, Vishal, we have experienced that no matter even doing it with your best friend, right? But after a point of time you kind of get sick of each other.
Absolutely.
Like shut the fuck up kind of thing. A loving way, but then because you have this stress constantly of other things, it kind of anything can rub you off wrong, and you can get triggered by any smallest things that you wouldn't even care about in your normal life. So emotionally also it's a big thing to
it is.
I mean that look at bands like Rolling Stones, for example. They've been touring since the dinosaurs. So, I mean, look at their drummer that unfortunately passed away. He was a few years ago. Was it like 2 years ago or something? He like toured and played until he was 6 feet under. So it's that passion of the music that is absolutely unbeatable.
Yep.
It's really impressive.
Absolutely. I think after a certain point in time in your career where you have the luxury of these big bands like they have, you can, let's say if we are playing from A city to B city, I do not necessarily have to travel overnight. I can just take I can get a plane and just go there 1 hour later. I have that luxury because I have that amount of whatever money and that flexibility with but to get to that level itself is a big deal. You have to put in a lot of efforts to just reach there, where you have the luxury of avoiding these unnecessary and small things.
Yeah.
It's like Iron Maiden. They have their own airplane.
Yeah, right.
That would be convenient.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Very good.
Then there wouldn't be a problem to have your guitar as a carry-on luggage.
Yeah.
Well, then again, they have their singer as their pilot, so
yeah.
True. I should tell you this, a small story about Wacken again.
Yeah.
I played with a broken hand. I had a silly little accident at home just about 10 days before leaving the country. And I broke my hand. I had a fracture. And I was like, oh shit, I can't do this to my boys. I can't go with a broken arm. I took an X-ray. It was a fracture, yes, and I had to where the cast and the plaster. We were supposed to practice. We were supposed to jam 2 days before we left. I didn't want them to see it because the minute you have a visual of a broken arm, it's going to demotivate the fuck out of you, right? So that morning when we were supposed to jam, I took it off. And I just told Mayank that this is what has happened, but I'm fine. I'm okay. I mean, I can still play. It hurt like hell, but I was on painkillers, and I didn't really explain what happened and stuff like that. I have 2 dogs, and I tripped over one of the small dogs, and I hit the hand, and all that shit happened.
Yeah.
But deep inside, I was fucking scared. I said, how am I going to perform? And this is the most important event of our lives. This is what we've been waiting for. And I can't fuck up like this. And I owe it to the boys. I mean, I can't. It's so wrong. But I managed to do a little bit of herbal therapy and all those things that the Indians do. And thankfully, I was fine. On the day of the concert, I was so high on energy, the pain didn't matter. Right after the gig, when we went back, I was like, oh, fuck, this hurts. Quickly drank a couple of beers, and those were my painkillers. And I was absolutely fine. But it's still kind of fucked. And there's still a little bit of swelling there. And the best part was right from back in, we came back and we had a show in Bangalore. So I couldn't even go back to the doctor and put a cast back. We went to Bangalore. We thrashed ourselves out. We had a great show, didn't we, Mike? I mean, that concert the lineup was amazing. And we had a great time playing there as well. And yeah, I mean, things heal. I mean, this is nothing. It's just a bone. Yeah. We talk about bone crushing metal and things like that. This is what it is. So we had a great time. And I'm okay now. So that was one little thing that was that put me in a spot where, as long as the performance is not affected, I don't really give a shit about what happens.
That's dedication.
It's not just me, right? It is about the band. It's everybody. All of us have put in our blood, sweat, and everything. It's our dream to play there, and there should not be any kind of a downside. I mean, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be the reason to fuck things up.
Yeah, so, totally get
it. That's just great.
That's kind of like you were saying before as well. Like the show must go on, and I really, really love that mindset.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. We are very honest about the whole metal thing. Metal is all about being honest.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Come what may, whatever it is, you got to do your best. This is what we're here.
That's true. I would like to add one more thing to this point, Vishal, to what you said. In the end, the show, what matters. You're absolutely. So the things that you do to reach that point, whatever, it's tough and all of that, but then once you're there on the stage, nothing else matters. You are there. That is what you're supposed to do. You forget about all the miseries that you have. You don't care. I mean, once you take that first step on the stage, and as soon as you play that first chord, whatever, as soon as the sound starts, I mean, everything vanishes from your this area. It's just you music. You're just trying to do something, and it makes you feel good. That's the good thing about metal as well. Not every band is doing it just for the money. They are doing it because they actually like that kind of music. It's unlike any other genre where people are doing whatever. We have commercial bands here as well in metal, but then I think the main root of the entire metal tree is we all do what we actually like to do. Money doesn't matter. Our struggles doesn't matter. They don't
I think it's quite noticeable when bands do it for fame and money, and when they compared to when they do it for the passion of music. Because there is so much more depth and feel in the music when they do it for the passion. And when you do it for fame and money, the music, it doesn't really have a soul and personality, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. That makes sense. You
Yeah.
cannot fake that. You cannot
Yeah.
fake the
No.
depth in the music and the personality, you know, which you bring every day. And even in the
Yeah.
recordings, you can tell, you know, forget about live. Even, you know,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
hear some albums, you listen to some albums, and you can tell that, you know, they have just made this album for the sake of making it, or for whatever reasons.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's quite apparent.
But it was kind of like you were into before as well, that like even bands that we consider like kind of commercial within metal, like for
Yes.
example the
Mhm.
Big Four, at
Yeah.
the same time it's like when they started, like when they began writing music, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
they didn't write that
Yeah,
music to be commercial or to be
Absolutely.
mainstream, so to speak. Like a
Yeah.
band
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Slayer, they didn't do what they did in the beginning because
Yeah.
they wanted to be mainstream. So
Right.
there's a little difference as well.
Yeah.
absolutely,
Totally.
absolutely. I mean, one must be crazy to think, if you know, if you think that, yeah, let's make Rain in Blood and think, okay, I'm gonna make money out of this. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It just happened because it was
It
supposed to
just happened.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
People
mean, a lot
like
of,
honest shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So even in this outfit, Kasck, I would say that Mayank is the think tank. He's the one who um, kind of he has a vision. Uh, I'm the yes man. That's the relationship. Yeah. I mean, Mayank has things to do, and yes, I'm right there. I'm right there, and Saurabh also, of course, the drummer. I mean, and it's easier to handle. I mean, we're just three of us, so. Uh, Lesser the number of people, I'll say that again, it's easier to coordinate, and less of challenges, less of hassles. So if Mike is a think tank, I'm always there to say, yes, fucking let's do it. Yeah, let's tour, let's do this, let's spend some time together working, writing some new materials and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So there's a nice little process. I mean, it's
Yeah.
very comfortable. It's very nice. No, it's seamless. So that's what I like about our little outfit. And we've got our little strengths and weaknesses. We put them together, and that's the way to go. So there are no challenges. Whatever challenges that we have are handleable. We do that. I mean, let's be honest about who have issues. But the way we put our things together, just because we have a vision, we've got to be there, and all of us are passionate. The three of us are quite passionate about it. I won't say equally, but we've got our commitments, we have our jobs and family and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But keeping that aside, the passion for metal and the passion to get somewhere. You know, I've seen people who are very passionate about music and passionate about playing, but they are playing in their rooms. They're playing with a YouTube backing track, and they're very happy with that.
Yeah.
That's not who we are. We've got to go places. We've got to discover new places where we can, play and form a little community there. And we're all about those kind of adventures.
Yeah.
I think that's what Kasck is all about. I mean, we are all about exploring new territories, creating a footprint over there, and spread the whole the love that we have for it. So,
I enjoy
I mean,
playing
that's our
with
formula.
YouTube backing tracks. I enjoy that.
Same. Same.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it's
why
like a
I call
warm up.
myself a bedroom musician.
Yes, yes.
Life is
I mean,
awesome.
it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's
When you're
no doubt
playing in
about
the
that.
bedroom, it's just you and the music, you
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
lights, it's a
But
nice.
we don't stop there. That's the point. That was my point.
Yeah.
Don't stop
Yeah.
there. We like newer faces. We like to see audience respond to what we do.
Yeah, that's true.
Love it.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. Being it's just about being true to yourself. In the end, it all comes to that.
Yeah.
I would add it again. I'll say it one more time. It's just
Yeah.
the honesty and the depth and the emotions that you feel, with the music. I mean, I'm not saying it cannot happen with any other music, but yeah, with metal, it's very difficult to put into words, like
Yeah.
the hurricane of emotion that you feel
Right.
just by listening, and forget about playing, you feel it even more than just by listening. So
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I think
music is absolutely pointless if it doesn't do something to you, like inside.
Right.
You're gonna
Yeah.
absolutely feel something when you listen to music.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it comes back to the kind of like bond that we were talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
earlier as well. That kind of bond is not only between like metalheads, but also kind of between the crowd and the musicians on stage.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
like it doesn't only apply to like among metalheads, but also
Yeah.
kind of between musician and listener as well.
Yeah.
And I guess
I
that has to kind of do with the kind of like honesty aspect as well. That you kind of feel that same bond. So if the
Yes.
musician isn't like honest, for example, you can tell
Yeah.
that pretty easily.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely, for sure.
Whenever I hear, the Ecstasy of Gold, which Metallica plays just before they play the concert, no matter where I am, no matter what I am
Yeah.
doing, I'm guaranteed to have goosebumps. I mean, just
Yeah.
think about that. And
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I've heard it thousands of times because I've seen thousands of Metallica concerts on whatever
Yeah.
YouTube, and
Yeah.
every time, even if I just hear a couple of notes from da, da, da,
Oh yeah, it kind of
I'm like
goosebumps.
instantly in that zone. Okay, let's fucking
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yesterday
I
was
totally
Dimebag
agree.
Darrell's birthday, so I spent all of yesterday listening to Dimebag and all this dive bombs. What a guy, man! I mean, I was almost in tears when I got into Floods, the song. I was like almost in tears. I said, this man was taken away too soon. So that's the kind of emotion that it kind of hits you somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't happen when I'm listening to any kind of pop or even rock for that matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't really hit you. But Dimebag, the way he would perform as a performer, as a musician, as a human being, there was my eyes got open there. So that happens in this genre. I'll say that they say this again. It is honest music. That's your
Yeah.
inner voice that comes out.
Yeah.
So metal is not just about making noise. So all these people who talk about what is this long hair, beard, and this and that, and you're shaking your head like you're possessed. No, I mean, that's your inner feeling. Everyone has a dark little spot in themselves, but
For sure.
the society doesn't believe that. Yeah.
That makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's evil. A human being is evil. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yin and
have the
yang.
dark side.
Yin and Yang wasn't created for just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very true.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how we feel. Maybe that's a good note to end it on.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Or do you have more that you want to share with us?
Oh, we could go on forever.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you.
Because,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's really lovely talking to you guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's
Yeah,
Likewise.
likewise.
we resonated.
This honest conversation that we are having
Yeah.
again.
Oh yes.
For
Oh,
sure.
Yes. Oh yes.
It's not like scripted anything. We're just like, it's just being
Yeah.
true to you. Speaking
Absolutely.
your
Yeah.
conversations like these, it's amazing.
For sure.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you want to shout out to our
absolutely.
audience?
Check out our EP if you haven't yet.
Yeah.
And writing our new material, and it should be out sometime next year, beginning.
Yes.
January, February. So make sure you check it out. If you like thrash metal, and if you like to listen to newer bands, just check us out. We have a lot of live videos as well on YouTube. So yeah, I mean, just And if you enjoy it, indeed, just please give us a like on Instagram or whatever, because it really helps. If people think that what's the big deal about likes and all that, but then in the real world, when you think about it as a business person, when you have to pitch your band to, let's say, a label or a promoter for the show, the number of likes, the number of listens, the views, and all of that, it counts. It matters a lot more than people. So yeah.
And if our listeners are watching on YouTube, all of the links to both YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram are gonna be in the description.
That's amazing.
For easy access.
If you haven't subscribed to Metal Verbalizers, please do it right now.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It has
been an absolute blast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously open for the idea of you coming back on the podcast as well.
For sure.
If you would want to do that.
We will. Yes. Look forward to it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk again. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Yep. You too.